Right, everyone will be about the about sports arena. So brasso say yes show na say na bibia so etumi ade ekoye. Yes, sports arena bread na so yeah they bread na channel so say MYBET.AFRICA TV, MYBET and then aso ya sen. But more than say on MYBET for ebe hwabo na bibia so na etumi ade etumi de akoye e ho no. Akwa blue mineral water and ra utumi say MYBET be bray about around. The braba around. I was sanka virus to me mind to be the way a cow mukono. Virus say about yemenum waha. Inti bomodi and say the abasi a babenum. My catch was such a wound to me. Was say galamsey or the galamsey as say yensu. So papa be any gun house is here. I just aqua blue mineral water. Pe aqua blue mineral water ni binanum. Nabi bianco ye macacho. Uko kosa a yetano na onuma. Untumi ayi galamsey no. And I say, oh, yeah, the war no. On says, oh, match no. Now, so I she brutal. It aqua blue mineral water, no, so baby no. Inti, we call a shop beer, cause I open aqua blue mineral water, and no, not just a yet to me a day. Yea, no crojin, and a gun and knee, just a chuck of beer, and I say, oh, Conumsua, Ebema, a year cancer datching. MYBET online radio, MYBET.AFRICA TV, Okopiemu, a year. YouTuber obeti huyan obeti enka nemum Facebook no ABN Radio 1 ABN Radio 1 ana afi obetumi so a check in ewo street is watching na yes streaming show no live enya asem keto and right say wonu say me bet no Iceland team order first yes share 4-1 ono say me bet no teams ni nyina obia boy and na ye be diska. Na unim so china Champions League night. Say yehu Europa League de waje, yehu Conference League de waje. Aka Europa Champions League no. Creme de la creme. Paris Saint-Germain and Inter Milan. Why na je? Ye de munchi nchirimu be de be bro. Say transfers no. Ya say Chelsea mpanifo no trase ye de dwendwen niema ho ane ade a say o mehwe say. O menya striker ba kwa sa de abeka ho a. Esanse omo hwe se nkuku beko ena magui so no omo be trust o mepe loan deal bi de e ama no nti o so munya 3 strikers esanse omo se next season se ne team na aye no kwan bia so metumi aye de etumi a challenge for important trophies na omo so be statement signing no ena dodo na ahwe se ene left wing ho no so de ene ho na eba statement signing na hwana ebi mu say Nico Williams ene Abrante Efreno Rodrigo sa 2 players we and esi anhwa Chelsea penifo no mbetwe ba kode aba na Brightway so e de no so da so ekonkon ho se ede omo hwe ni mu so mo de ne beba na se Fofana ye star ya ono aba be de aba be shem e ho no ese Olympic Marseille hwe ni musa Abrante Efreno no Benoit Badiashile hwe no mo de naba na afi bibia sumi atumi akoye na Abrante Efreno hatu ono sina kan edema Ajax Amsterdam no teso no na ba be boa ama left back position bibia atumi akoye Man United yes say 100 million euros na Ahilal fo ne ya beto so omonye no monfa omo sibofo a Efreno Bruno Fernandes omonfa ema omo na no na dodo na aka say ontena isan say quality player because quality player this season ono na abo anya sanka Man United be ko relegation ono na ebo ai ti so mo mana kwa anhwe a na bi mu say da bi ya rebuilding say Chelsea so atena say omo per Sancho na emom e wo say ne salary no so oteso enti ho no mo hwe so menya 25 million pounds omo hwe say Garnacho so menya 60 omo hwe ni mu say Abrante Efreno Rashford o menya 40 no ma hwe say o menya be 30 bi e de afi Onana ho a enti saska we nyina no betumi anya be 100 million na Bruno de no so asa be ka 100 million 200 million no mo believe say eye big enough so o betumi assign players a omo ye promising omo sa so omo quality a coach ni betumi ayɛ rebuilding ti ɔmo hwɛ ne mu sɛ nka saa we nyinaa yɛ about 250 million because Sancho 60 Sancho 25 we so 40 ɛno kora yɛ 65 plus ɛyɛ Garnacho 60 na omunya 30 bi de ma ɛyɛ Onana na yɛ sɛ ɔmo keka kɔ 200 anesa na Bruno de no so 100 million so bɛka ho a 300 ebi mo indicate sɛ abrante bi wɔ Crystal Palace e friend no ɛyɛ Watkins right Watson midfield onimbo papa Postcodes pepe omo nkofa na komo fa Eze nka ho omo fa Eze ka ho a na omo akwa abrante friend no Brian Mbemu na ko omo nkofa Yokeres mfa ne meka ho na fe omo mpe midfielder ba ko nsa meka ho se bia Palhinha anase Douglas Costa onso no in Premier League nda no ni mbo ne bo just that call aye Juventus no Juventus so show say omo to me for promising players omo to me for omo nya hwe na nti omo kofa beka aye we na ko omo dey be replace Bruno Fernandes ebi mu so say Bruno entra with this aye analysis impenifo so dey omo adwen kire be dey beba na ya hwe dey betima boa aye Man United na bibia so betumi ade akoyite na Man United na ebegina ho pa me no kase omo ne Hong Kong FC Hong Kong for na win first half the ebesi bi enfo bia ho the first Hong Kong for na win first half no we are okay na mo me no kase dey producer say Man United at 1-1 Man United versus Hong Kong 1-1 e wo no enti we any transfer say ba you see Liverpool omo jiga enkofo na jiga esisika enkofo no de kwa kofa favorite ways no chairman ese nya asem keto akra nya fedi agro yese structures no omo de akọ say add-ons ne ade a ese 130 million euros and yese sika na komo de kofa eye Caicedo no ene omo de kwa kofa eye Florian Wirtz honum enti eno ne nkoma eno so ba say Man City so no ene Tijani Reinders ena me no ka say Real Madrid for up 10 million bi dia ma Liverpool say omunjai eye abrante eye frɛ no Trent Alexander-Arnold say omunfa man no naja onkonko pie mu no nsi akan fa mo club world cup no na abrante eye frɛ no Massimiliano Allegri ene are returning to eye AC Milan honum enti ene teams no work hard enya asem keto akra enti die wo mu no yes as Angel Di Maria returning to eye Rosario Central ena chese o start ni ball ni nyina a oba krom ebe agi ni din pa honum enti se Sancho de ne yese se o hwe na se ne sika kese no okoji mo United obetete so dia ene we se we Sancho a obeye de yen we ene chese stories a eba ye wi ane aba be hwe eye money man yen hwe my bet education no yen hwe my bet education no na if you want na yen room
okay yeah. Say my bet education and anope chia and we chia phone now bibiara oba be show yi so do ma show no and do MYBET.AFRICA and your first time so I will show now and so better registration process no very simple no it my register now weekend there baby Rema Champions League final wo we once wait me afisca MYBET.AFRICA inti registration here very simple call www.mybet.africa oko on platform so at the top right corner obi hu icon bi a circle ni green umia so a registration beba registration here just 3 simple steps. The first one your username, the first one your phone number your mobile money transactions into both phone number ni shema. The next one your username ye din episode use bit me your nickname bit me ye din bi episode use but e bi wo ha obu di din ni be shame ni esi obi afadeda ebia okofa kwame obi nso de kwame registered da nti ya na wo de number ba ko mienu aka ho na mana unique for open the next thing your password wo password ni we are bo registration is wa my bet for very send the verification code now they are verify our account to verify our account ni we are and no ba be come my bet ebusua no ye ba be we are Champions League mu unim say one game per so that is the Champions League final but my bet see so on be 10 different options I will bet me a pick it into bet builder with Champions League no bet me a pick it 10 different options it be a team B to win team B way be share first half go way be corners bookings be up to 10 say na all team bet me a do omu wi a omu ntwa wo ha omu san de aka bonus tie which into selections ni e bebre no now aka bonus ni nso e bebre na me no so no sika mbet me a do tense na Champions League final ni be ko na wie no na wo wait me a fiske mu edu MYBET.AFRICA to register na be come MYBET ebusua no say na wo nso bet me a fiska e platforms
right yes it's MYBET ho dance here na ye didi a kire no MYBET omo you brutal depend on my send message say what do you ti kona kwa check ni na ye hwe ni mu se ye be first car na bibia so etumi akoye honom moma ye nhwe eye transfers no na ye nhwe ye ma ye concentration in dosu pa ewo Man United but ye nhwe Liverpool and Chelsea Sancho de no and then a possible striker and if there is another striker what does it mean to the current players no I wo ni ade yen hwe no kakra na fe ye mehwe Man United situation.
Okay, listen, I'm starting free Chelsea there no. With Chelsea you say ndra ye be ma ahwefo na ati as say dilap kwan bia so Chelsea betimi assign na any 30 million o ma trigger release clause now within and then obekwa kwa any medicals no aba be dani Chelsea player. Apart from dilap transfer na ya ade ba kwa no mo hwe so mpese o mutimi ye ntem. Na Jadon Sancho so contract renewal and as a Chelsea be signing fully ade ba kwa Chelsea for Almudi hon komo ba Sancho de no na ba be a player and performance de nyame anim Ukraine so Chelsea for any even that goal or share in the Conference League final no ade ba ko cement ni stay Chelsea but see and Chelsea for hwe ni salary and ni wages ene ade ba ko mu edu we Chelsea wage bill ni so the highest paid players or more wage bill ni so as at now club room Reece James on 250,000 now Reece James there ni contract renewal na before Todd Bowley mo ba be den e ba be fe adwuma no and now being a captain no omuntimi yes we tiso ana bibi maybe the next contract negotiation e bi on be ma dwen so on ne betina se edisa ankomo no but as apart from Reece James so be any who 250,000 for Chelsea it is a Jadon Sancho ohwe ne Man United contract ni mo oji almost 250,000 up to 250,000 into Chelsea for hwe say opese wotna ya ready say betua 25 million no ama Man United but o salary no ese etna se ne san restructure bibia bio into ene bibia ejina Jadon Sancho ene ne agent so mbeti ase ese ne Chelsea aye performance wages ama players ni bi the likes of Caicedo, Cole Palmer ene even Nicolas Jackson with me benefit free side no ye ma a lower or a basic salary o performance ni ko enima near den kakra den count any bibia be gina Jadon Sancho so se obeji atum so obe sign no ate ne salary no so na afi do be Chelsea player and na say Chelsea I ready say 5 million on betua ama Man United say on san nko no obeko but we hear these two sides I think Jadon Sancho as a player so we gidi woni mu say Chelsea team of 15 no betimi aboa I don't see any problem reducing your salary to 120 130 150 to be able to stay now feed here ubetimi dey add on to be account say goals are be per season and then nyama ba kumio now feed the ones wetimi abon ho den senia o salary no betimi aden and our bonus se ba be count no betimi akonenim that at the end of the year no hwe wo salary ajo Man United any bonuses ne be ka ho a e betimi ama na ye pe so I think bibia now Jadon Sancho we ne basket more ni agent e be discuss senior be but Chelsea striker for mo be pe no I think yes Chelsea be signing another striker but Chelsea signing another striker ne gina nyama mienu so one Chelsea project no mo and they are looking at bringing in players at their youthful age on betimi build with the squad senior ndra me bobo so no nti hu say with Chelsea signing another striker the likes of Sesko any Ekitiki and still omudi ewo conversation. But in draw report and an question they said there've been a little bit of conversation between Chelsea and the Gyökeres. Say quite be as more has on bit me yet signing now. But the likes of Gyökeres, Victor Osimhen, I didn't we are not hearing much about them near based on salary, because Victor Osimhen is looking at 250, 270 upwards. Gyökeres something similar, 250, 270 upwards. Club name some person almost say some wage structure no my building and nothing about a problem. But I think with the lap signing, and then now Chelsea looking at the new sign about a kind of more of that Caicedo Lavia type of transfer, where Chelsea who's okay, let's go in for Lavia, and now we can look at battling for Caicedo in so and about between other clubs on one particular player. They know say they've secured one young talent who can help them. But you see, I say which striker will Chelsea going for? But there's still the conversation where Ketiki, but now the price tag Chelsea with the coming days from now to the 20th of June at Chelsea will won the first FIFA Club World Cup game. There will be a new striker to Chelsea. The other side is what is the next move for player friend Nicolas Jackson if Sir Chelsea are a new striker. I think Nicolas Jackson a player very versatile. About that 10 role of it, he can also play from the left wing position. It maybe the Chelsea Bernard said they will add another striker, meaning that he will be part of the team, but now he will have to develop well. Onyas have free chance now or boy in a game or performing or performing, and now there are players coming in they want to be the number 9 for Chelsea. And I think Saudi Nisia next season we'll see the best of Nicolas Jackson, because the only thing stopping Nicolas Jackson from being one of the top players and mentality, trying to understand say I need to fight for my position. If there is any new additional, he will surely fight for his position. He would be one of the key players in Chelsea's team next season. You real Liverpool catch up. You who say Florian Wirtz in some I think time at Liverpool and a Florian Wirtz the likes of Bayern Leverkusen, Real Madrid more ETS any Man City more ETS when you Liverpool team no be born. Nina could see the structure of the transfer. As of now, Bayern Leverkusen is say can be it should be at least 130 million and no more person in Tisendia add-ons should be something that it should be easy achieved. Pay add-ons be a player be winning Ballon d'Or and Zanamu this can be a baby count. Share add-ons on ABR Magic League. There's a major trophy. We were a major league final. With me performing with me I say then yeah just can. German clubs one thing about player transfer add-ons is add-ons pay add-ons it goes into the future. Or say within 1-2 seasons with me now see a conversation between Liverpool. But I think as of now club or a bigger wage bill will bet me a lot of transfers say in Liverpool. Last season they didn't add enough players. This season is so make me winning major trophies. They have enough money to do signings. And they who say the frame pawn about and they who say the Florian Wirtz and so and I think with these two players will be very key for the Liverpool setup. Apart from that, the next player on be looking to maybe add to their setup will be maybe a DM. I think the way I slot up the ball on the ball, up a more of a ball playing type of DM. In teams, I slot a player in the profile of Obi a friend Romeo Lavia. It would have been a very good addition. I think that time in Liverpool to me signing Romeo Lavia, I think I slot anybody because he likes more of a destroyer and more of a disposer. But Pobia or no sweet me about Bonibia, Nutini who say or the Gravenberg ever board that rule, or a player who can fit in and also bring that competition between Ono and the Gravenberg. With Liverpool, so no, and they send you and some 10 million and I Real Madrid for their mom. Say and I'm also no beat me the Alexander Arnold above FIFA Club World Cup. Alexander Arnold beat me about the first official game at Real Madrid in that FIFA Club World Cup on Bebo. USA into Liverpool now common cost no be at least with a 3 million to 5 million BDA. Real Madrid there's something my Liverpool, but the negotiation are stretching. I'm a Liverpool let me negotiate 10 million and I Real Madrid they hear somebody remember Alexander Arnold. Now no wait me about. I think it's a good offer for Liverpool. 10 million isn't bad. Something at least also bet me their accounts can hold their transfers back but a player of Alexander Arnold quality at least a 70 million, 80 million. In Kenya send a contract in the way and can Liverpool bet me. But I think it's something they need to learn from. Or free and equal if they have any player now contract negotiation now way it's best to just sell the player out. Say who said the likes of Chelsea Moyeno. Let the player go, get enough money and replace him with quality. You who say Chelsea, Emma makes him mount call for almost 60 million, for 50 something million to 60 million. And the Kofa Kupama, which has now replaced Mason Mount so well. So I think Liverpool with Alexander Arnold issue would be something greater. They will try to now, from now onwards, if there is any contract renewal with any player, they will try to do the needful a bit to me either above more. With Man United, send our boss on a Yaman Koye. Ye will be himself, starting on pre-season in them. And there were rumors going around saying, as a Man United, as Skabi, and I'm no soon to Mako Malaysia, about 2 friendly games. It will generate 10 million euros for Man United with just 2 friendly games or mobile. It's Man United free and equity. They can generate money and do a proper rebuilding for Ruben Amorim and Omoshe. And they say Chelsea and Jadon Sancho come on the bet me meaning they can get 25 million from Jadon Sancho deal. Rashford and so Aston Villa assigned the number back. It meaning say almost sign Rashford and now Rashford and so share yes
Sancho can I say
25
million.
Yes. Okay. 25 million and with Rashford almost the tools so say 40 million or more so bet me at all. But Sancho's Rashford and so I'm be at as I say on your Barcelona or Bebo. Until now they be depending on Barcelona so bet me at the 40 million about. And now I say there will be other club that likes of AC Milan and Juventus no more so here some bet me Rashford service. So multi-million Rashford and so many move for 40 million and that would be that is 65 million in their books. The next player they are looking at letting me go Garnacho. You won't say as of now everything between Garnacho and Man United off. In TNA Kwambi Asono almost said the likes of Napoli Antonio Conte the pressure to almost some players no. So Antonio Conte cash up Garnacho be a Kwambi Asono bit me another 40 million from Garnacho. A bit me a bomb. 2 can in a bomb, meaning 105 and bit me a generated from this 3 transfer. But the major transfer, they Ababe and Sembibri, Bruno Fernandes to Saudi. I think every Man United fan, everyone mixed feeling about this transfer. I didn't make us and they said they will be looking at Bruno Fernandes being one of their key players or Abua. And they Man United, they bob on up a player, be a bit me a savior, may Bruno Fernandes. But on the other hand, 100 million coming in. Send them a boss, so they will be able to generate 105 from these players. 3 players are my bomb. So the Bruno transfer and one, meaning they've generated over 200 million from just way players going out. Into a club need 100 million crash Man United would have up to 300 million in new transfer money they can use for a good rebuilding under Ruben Amorim. We have Bruno age and any agent is so precious or Momana. I think he will get up to getting to 700 million ni wages ni contract or signing. So as a player 30 years I think Bruno would likely move away from Man United. Say the agents it be pushy here and Man United will need this money because Amorim person building a team he knows and a team they would like to play in that 3-4-3 system. It will be a good addition for Man United. So we turn these 4 players and generate 200 million. Then you make me ride the market. But Man United the ride market my players bang and no more so make me assign you. Oko your player be friend Edison. He's one key player Man United are looking at adding this season. Watson one also player Crystal Palace one also player they are looking at adding. And then once a Man United Bell might be say they will sell with your friends Ugarte. Ugarte will be one player Man United will allow to go. I didn't make a sign say the time and now Ruben Amorim was sporting Otono Emma Paris Saint-Germain because of the style of play the way are not person born he didn't fit into that system. Into say Man United they are rebuilding now he will be one player they will allow him to go. So he would also so they can go in for the Edison and also the Watson guy who can come in and fit into that CDM rules are obey me and the upfront you know say who ni ade ono say ababe gina the payment structure. So Man United bet me enough money they can reduce the payment structure. They were looking at paying within 3-4 windows, but Wolves in so say within 2 windows they need to pay those money and they can get it done. Then now the other 2 players they are eyeing Eze of Crystal Palace and also Mbemu of Brentford. And then Mbemu Tottenham because there is Tottenham so anywhere in Kunku so bet me adding Kunku to their team. That creative 10 I'll bet minimum this in a pair, and I'll bet minimum this in a pray that particular route. Man United now that 300, they will sign a new goalkeeper, which can be Joao Gracia of Espanyol, or that is also one goalkeeper. No more.
Torino goalkeeper Savage.
Yes.
Milinko
Savage is another goalkeeper they are also eyeing. And in the defensive side, I wouldn't be surprised at Diamonte of Sporting Lisbon. No, one key figure of Ruben Amorim setup. No, he will try to bring him to the team. And two defensive midfielders now in Edison and Watkins, since who would come in Bemo, and also the likes of your friend is saying Easy, one of them Man United will look at adding, and they can go in for Victor Gyökeres, because as of now, I didn't make us say you need him say the big clubs are no more here some the Gyökeres beba, the likes of Chelsea, Arsenal, they are pulling out. As at the AD Nkomo, Arsenal any Sesco, AD Nkomo, see they can bring Sesco to the Emirates. Chelsea in Swako for the lap. They are looking for other strikers, and the conversation are more centered around Ekitike, more any the likes of Sesco. In Gyökeres would have Liverpool, Barcelona as the only clubs who are signing for. And as of now, Barcelona, I don't think they would pull up 70 million for Gyökeres at this time. If they have that money, they'll try and get the likes of Isak Mo, and also a young player to build their young squad with. Liverpool with Gyökeres, Liverpool in here striker who would be the focal point to get more goals, because they are getting the goals from their wingers. Into a striker who can be more of an assistant to his wingers, and maybe the likes of Ekitike Mo and Joao Pedro Mo to give Mohamed Salah Mo that option to score. Into a say a stretch here, Gyökeres would have no option than to sign for Man United, which I think Man United fans anybody with Amorim getting.
Champions League no.
I think Ebedu Babes say I know so on this sporting for Atenas say kwan bia so person call. So if there is no club coming in,
Champions
League, Ebedu Babe, he would like to go for a manager. I think on in a Jumada. So I think Man United for now they wouldn't put in much pressure. They are just relaxing and looking at Seny and Yamabeko. Hoyland would be one player. I think Inter Milan so it's quite be so Inter Milan is to discover they will allow him to go. So Ruben Amorim would have enough money if they are to get these transfers done. Now for the Bibiaba Bejinane, so as a coach, buy the players that would fit into your team and work well. So when Timmy and this writer at the end of the season when you look at Man United Ebejani Quine.
Listo, my main chat here for you now. Ya mama kwaba. Do Friday say ya na say a virus more plan is on the call recovery Saturdays na the ade. Do say na ni jaba. Listo, I think say we could pay more transfers na. Emu aye din ye pa. But I'm say I'm for attention yanko the Italian Serie A. All the big teams Italian Serie A now must start working on getting the coaches done and some numerical players or macro players. Now, Obakaya, you be near time discussing more about Antonio Conte, that fresh yaba on Aurelien De Laurentiis or your president at Napoli, and compensation is to Sana. The Abanin and say Juventus for no more approaching Antonio Conte because then they Inter Milan. In as much as I have on the offer size Kakesama Inzaghi. Inzaghi my aware he wants to continue at Inter Milan. Now, so Bekaya Claudio Ranieri, Emekache say in Atlanta, whoever will be the coach for Atlanta, I have confirmed already. And team na sansa be dey eba be announce ema ene Atlanta for no ebe bobo say omo hu say Georgian club and Georgian club na eko now listo aba be to just say Gianpiero Gasperini and eko Roma and Gasperini for na Roma for na where say yes Wama Atlanta for na already say he's going to Roma, and in fact Nkomodi Ranieri was part of the people who initiated somebody who come and replace him as the permanent coach for a year team and a Roma. And they Juventus for approach Conte. They also approached a year opinion Eddie Gasperini. So right now I can't Juve pen almost searching for your coach. So Oyole De Laurentiis listo. After Napoli for J league, no say omo Vatican ho ko hu Pope no. The new Pope no the season. After doing everything, omo point na De Laurentiis ne Conte kodi nkomo. Nkomo no anhye da nko anim biasa, then the club CEO enso be mu ani finally they've been able to agree a term with Antonio Conte. Obaika me catch say Conte ade ode to omo anim say omo increasing the sika no. One, then also they should make sure say the next transfer window no, they will do that because Antonio Conte wants to break that chain say Conte the OG league no in the following season Kotoso 10. He wants to avoid that even if following season when Timmy and Jeffrey Grampo they are in the Coppa Italia and the Champions League sports league no more. So now Napoli they have been able to secure their head coach Antonio Conte. And they AC Milan for no. After Sergio Conceição pam no, they've appointed an clear say Maximiliano Allegri and never be head coach. Eriama AC Milan. Ama announce BBA clear. Right now Inter Milan they don't have any issues with the coaching. Roma after bringing Jose Mourinho dem coach the Conference League over so many years and now Roma for G trophy. I need the project and Mourinho yet date or mind me to some Mourinho free ho. Omo the former players aba near man koi and son and Claudio Ranieri ever be save you from relegation if you be on the Omokoto year. And then Gianpiero Gasperini, an experienced, proven, a tactician and a genius coach ever be far Roma team. And you should know that next season Roma will also enter into the Scudetto race. Right now, Atlanta will be searching for a coach. Juventus will also be searching for a coach. And then they list Uko Lazio, the club president in Opam, Mauricio Sarri, was saying first Sarri said Sarri should come back. Because since Mauricio Sarri recorded, near mine, and then they
will not return into Juventus.
Sarri, no, Lazio. Sarri will return back to Lazio.
Okay, now spell Idiana Uncle. Rome, Atlanta, no, Atlanta, Gianpiero. Onuko Roma.
Yes.
Anna, sorry, coin.
Sarri is sent back to Lazio. So free Lazio.
Okay, okay.
The president no pam. Sarri no.
Okay.
Was your friend say Charlie? Me and me pamo.
Sambra.
Sanko for he. Osi enchi. Ntinene opese Sarri and Samson bra back. Ntina kwa say tima. Aya who as open coach onya bi no and Juventus. Because Juventus needed an experienced coach. Because right now Napoli Antonio Conte. Milan or your rival or struggle this season. Akofa Maximiliano Allegri. A winner, an experienced coach. And Naba. Napoli. And then Roma Kofa Gianpiero Gasperini. And they are ready to spend for him. Because Obomo offers say if they cannot spend, he won't come. Because Juventus were ready to pick Gianpiero. And then also uncle. Conceição also free ho. Thiago Motta free ho. Juventus needs another coach to come and replace him. So listo. Nyame aduma next season. Serie A no, they will be the papa. They have top coaches. Ombabe Lidi the mantle for the players. Now, my member United any Bruno Fernandes in sense 7. And check it United a virus on far picture back into so Papa Bias original hotel anymore. Bruno Fernandes manager. Your friend Miguel Pinho. Mze nra na report in the bar say Miguel Pinho ewo Saudi hotel your friend 4 seasons. Oko Saudi and one of the biggest hotels in Saudi. Miguel Pinho. Omu no ne oni Ahila paying for no. Ekokoko di nkomo. About a potential move for Bruno Fernandes joining Ahila.
Now I want to Chelsea anyway because I'm Man United there no. And I want Chelsea. Sancho, okay.
Yeah. So Osha Bruno Fernandes a reporter binds after the meeting is there. Omo proposing a deal for Bruno. And listen, if you are Miguel Pinho, now you're Bruno Fernandes agent, you would think otherwise. So you're Manchester United. Now Bruno Fernandes your player, but who show team now? In as much as Bruno Fernandes say the most important player for team no. Even if say team no, one starting rebuilding that's Bruno Bemao, the number of goals and assists not the now. Still you cannot win the Premier League. And your table 100 million offer for a 30 million for a 30-year-old midfielder. So I have for reports on by and say they believe that their proposal no Mudiama Bruno Fernandes no. And he productive. Names I say a bit messy. Bibu or a bit messy. Listen now. Scout Mudiama Bruno Fernandes. Currently Bruno Fernandes. Oje 200 and I think Oje 300. Yeah, that is the gross salary in original. Almost 300,000 pounds a week. And then they list to Bruno Fernandes, Edgeworth United. Now, Dula and I laugh for no Ediama Bruno and say they are going to give Bruno Fernandes 200 million pounds in over 3 years. Right now, Bruno Fernandes for 30 years. Listo. Say Bruno Casobebo Ahila 3 years. He can return back to Europe at age 33. So they are ready to offer him $700,000 tax free. $700,000 tax free a week. And the United, Bruno Fernandes is 280,000. And no tax free. And besides, if Bruno Fernandes is be free man, United are and they was for the past 4-5 seasons, you know, they're also going to get 100 million. And under normal circumstance, in this transfer window, it will be very difficult for you to get a 30 million now. 100 million. And now, Ahila Fulenia Brese, they want to get Bruno Fernandes ready for the FIFA Club World Cup number one. So if they have anything to do, that 10 days transfer window, no, maybe they want to sign Bruno Fernandes before June 30th. And then before June 15th, the FIFA Club World Cup never starts. And they also try and say, this Al Hilal, you're champions of Saudi Arabia. We want to bring victors, we want to bring other players. We want to go and win the FIFA Club World Cup. And yes, they have the men. They have the players at any given time. Or make to mention that European top clubs. So listen, to me, Bruno Fernandes is considered move. The money involved, and even if the United project, it's not as if say the United project, a lucrative biama. And even if United person here rebellion, the next 3, 4, 5 seasons, Bruno Fernandes will not be part of their long-term plans. And as of now, I kept Bruno Fernandes 2 seasons, and only 2 years, he can decide to play the following season, 2 seasons. Now, when you're 32, still Saudi Arabian clubs will come for him and he'll still get the money he wants. So who you're in your now you're Manchester United, you also think around the box. Bruno is a serious player. But is he going to be part of United for long-term plans? Because in the City, or your rival, what in the past 6 seasons, 7 seasons, what the Premier League more than 4 times. They have started rebuilding. In as much as apart from maybe Kevin De Bruyne, Obeka said in the Premier League, we're having a better season than Bruno Fernandes. And ahead of Bruno Fernandes. Or you can put on City for a giant and a City for a replacement. They started rebuilding last year, and in the January transfer window, I brought Mama Mush by Kushanov. Abba, and then for the next season, they have a player after spending 100 million in number of calculation other ringers. They have their men. And the cushion of Eba be replaced. They also buy Tijani Randes and Rancheki. So it's why Pep Guardiola was starting a rebuilding. Mamouche, Tijani Randes, Rancheki, Kushanov, Muina, a rebuilding now was starting. So in the next 2 seasons, Bernardo Silva, Gundogan, Kevin De Bruyne. And I know that 2 to 3 seasons to come, they will get a perfect replacement for Rodrigo, who is arguably the best DM in the world of football currently, if he is fit. And of it, how Pep Guardiola person on the ball. Now, to Liverpool, almost so air to be shame. With Florent did the coma, they are getting a generational talent, age or form. Arnold Koye, Omenya, Jeremy Frimpong, they are going to sign defenders. So to me, I think that if I'm advising Bruno Fernandes and I'm Miguel Piwa, I would advise my player to go for this deal. 30 years, uncle for 3 years, 200 million. He can return back to Europe, or better go back to Portugal, play for Sporting, and also play in anything in the Champions League this season. Because at the age of 33, if Bruno Fernandes is fit and also playing at the highest level, but I don't think can say in the next 3 years, would this Saudi Arabian team bring another deal? Ebedu says can. And to me, both parties have to agree. Bruno Fernandes is a serious player. But the question is, even if the player decides to go, now United for your man some 100 million, how are they going to use the money? And that is the main thing. That is why most of the United fans and people closer to the team, they don't see Omar Baredamo any way possible doing a perfect deal after losing such a player. So to me, if United really want to do the rebuilding proper, they should take the money. Okay. Because in the next 2-3 years, he will be part of the project. Oh, Tom weigh 100 million. Send money mankind. You are going to sell Garnacho no less than 50 million. Sancho, if Chelsea decides to buy him permanently, as a idea of Mariga, they want to do 25 million plus other players, Rashford and other players will be free team. Even in Rashford Holland, Juventus decides to have a fan. You are running in excess of almost 300 million to start the rebuilding, the rebuilding episode being proper. Because any young talent, listen, report just said one of the main reasons why the lab HUC Chelsea, despite the fact that he's familiar with Enzo Maresca, he's familiar with Romeo Lavia, he's familiar with Joe Shields, and Kopama, he said he wants a Champions League football. Chelsea decided to home, and that is one of the main reasons why the lab accepted Chelsea proposal. They also proposed that if you are playing for Chelsea, we can guarantee you Champions League appearance. And they made Chaloba, Madueke, and the latest England collab as a reference to play. And last, Makacho said, the lab, the representative, they want the boy to get playing time. So, next World Cup in US, Canada, Mexico, the lab will be part of the 3 Lions of England squad. Right now, any player be over United, he knows that you are not playing the Champions League. So United should follow suit of what when Chelsea were not playing the Champions League. They should follow suit. And Saneman and Listo, you have to get the money. When you car and find a better planner, you won't get the young players to come into your team. So to me, the deal looks rich for both the player, for both Ahila, they will get their man. United should collect the money and leave Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes should leave United. Because after all, he's not going to win anything proper with this United team.
Who knows? Maybe this season, the kind of signings they are boa or no.
Bruno. Who say United for? They don't have that kind of money to do that signings because as I said, I mentioned about Manchester City deal. Yeah. City, who are even third in the league log, are starting rebuilding or starting in January. Arsenal, for the past 2 seasons, they'll be almost that second. It means that Omo will say they are missing a missing piece. They are also doing that. Iron Slot or buy since the Belgian league used to. Also started here to buy one of the best playmakers in Europe currently. And United cannot, go toe to toe with any of these players. When Todibo Limu buy, they turn on normally 2 players. They were buying players City and Liverpool and the players teams no more Champions League they were not going for, especially in South America. No coach Cheska Diama Santos, Vasco da Gama, player next year. But Cheska in SS, watch us say Charlie, this is the project I'm doing. If United want to do that, it means that the next 2-3 years and the next season is not going to be possible for them to win the league. If they're not able to do a lot of more outgoings, this is a team also Muniska. Workers are more proper a year more hotel. Cut it down cost. And they couldn't win the Europa League to get them that money. So financially, Jim Ratcliffe already said they will spend money to say they're told And the teams you are competing with now, more master to rebuilding, they are buying. Listen to what I say.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very difficult for United, for Ruben Amorim. I'm not saying say own team internet things around. They can come good, they can get a Champions League game. But with Bruno Fernandes, 30 years, even if we need a league, maybe following season, who knows that he can perform at the highest level. So to me, on Konji's can United should start a new project with a new face.
Okay.
And that will help them. Now, Trent Alexander-Arnold. Finally, Liverpool for no, I decided say, Omobema Branton Ako and Madrid for so make that point. Until the Washa, bienvenue. Welcome Trent Alexander-Arnold. Madrid for officially, I'm announcing. And when Arnold, since January, na clear Fabrizio Romano, yes, a Branton in Madrid. A year, Liverpool for start some motion JC. And some of us knew that the player will join Liverpool, but then Arnold contract list a bit in the 30th June. And now when is the FIFA Club World Cup starting? So Arnold contract in 30th June. It means that the FIFA Club World Cup will start 15 days ahead of when Trent Alexander-Arnold contract in Liverpool. So there were conversations saying I'm the 40% come Liverpool for €1 million. Like Omunja Arnold. But the Liverpool board and directors say we are not going to do that. Now, there are 3 key data. Ready say they are going to pay 10 million to Liverpool to allow the boy. So now we sign on for that 1 month, for him to be able to join the team earlier as they expected. So Liverpool for the list to Omaya de for say Omo avoid that €1 million. How much money negotiated being 10 million? Right now the 10 million bring down. They say Liverpool are going to get £8.4 million as the signing on fee. And Arnold wage is watching 300,000 a week. Madrid will pay that 1 month salary. So with Arnold salary you're mentioning in that June, plus the 8.4 million on the month Liverpool, Ningani Hamasi to 10 million in the Liverpool for Abeji. And they've been gossip around Merseyside was say Arnold the signing on fee and or just a free transfer from Liverpool to and you've been our catch money for say Liverpool for. And whether that is the case or not the case, still Liverpool for they've been able to at least get some money to support whatever money they are using to buy flowing bits. I think that a very good deal when Liverpool for it's negotiate here. 10 million for a player, I can 1 month. And was signing 6 years for Liverpool. Xabi Alonso, Florentino Perez said he will need Arnold in the FIFA Club World Cup. He will be crucial in the FIFA Club World Cup campaign. And then they finally Liverpool for let me and negotiate. From June 1 to June 10, that is when the transfer window will be starting. Then Real Madrid, June 18th, Real Madrid for our first FIFA Club World Cup. And then June 30th, Trent Alexander-Arnold, the contract with Liverpool will be expired. So near Mom say they have 10 days transfer window FIFA for the FIFA Club World Cup. They should be able to sign the boy for him to be able that June 18th, Madrid for first game of in the FIFA Club World Cup, he can play. So I think that finally Liverpool are getting 10 million. It's not the money and commitment from Aya Branton at the trend because we check it Madrid for press release on the bar for signing player and list. It means that the player are not release clause in excess of over 200 million euros. So you should understand.
Okay. Moment sure yeah, Ochina game no. Yeah, that build up. I think the hype no of him and I say if you look at the conference league,
teams no more bonus.
if you look at the conference league, but then it's our duty to go into the game.
I think Ochina game no will be one exciting Champions League game. Senior Okano is one game. It just goes for 2 teams. Ebane Ghana and I say local winner. Omuni supporters will be the Paris Saint-Germain, Inter Milan. So it will be one fixture. it will be like for just football fans to just watch and enjoy. I think maybe in Kebenya final of Arsenal and Barcelona, we would have seen the euphoria and everything around it. But we getting these two teams, the Nuntina who the Ekosuno. You share history kakra about the Champions League. With the Champions League, Mami starting for Paris Saint-Germain. History back every club we were at the Champions League first time, lose here, and their second time they surely get to win. You know the likes of Chelsea, Manchester City benefiting from this particular history. And with Paris Saint-Germain, they are looking at with that defeat Omunya in 2020 against Bayern Munich. Mutimi lose their first Champions League final, and then in 2025 they'll be looking at recorrecting that and also history backing them. Now, Oshe Juventus on the other hand, has been almost 15 years since they won the last Champions League, and they are the last Italian team ultimately winning the Champions League in that period. In Italy Champions League, after Monsassi and they don't get into good positions also on the Champions League competition. Into the last time it was another team, it may remain in the semi-final, Inter Milan, or in the final, Inter Milan, Inzaghi and Brandt, and it me these two times. I think Inzaghi Abaso, he has been able to raise the Italian flag so high in the Champions League, and their performance are going so well in the competition. From the Inter Milan aspect, this final will be a do or die for them. At the Inter makers, and they say they have a lot of aging players and they have the experience on their side. Into this match, Ababe more of an experience against an energetic side. Into two clubs with two different type of play. Paris Saint-Germain from the Champions League, they didn't get a good start, but they were able to revive their Champions League career. And now we could see they were putting a lot of energy. The likes of Hakimi, Dembele, Bracola, Desire Ademo, and Kvaratskhelia putting in a lot and performing too well. This game, both teams would come into the game well prepared for this Champions League final because everything backs them to win. With the Paris Saint-Germain setup, we'll see a different lineup. I think we are going to see Desire Ade and the likes getting the start, and their midfield pairing every time we get to see, we are going to see them. This game, the last 3 Champions League final to the Real Madrid Dortmund game, and it was a 1-0. This game, we are going to see a lot of goals in it. There's going to be a lot of goals in it because Paris Saint-Germain will surely score. Inter Milan will be taking advantage of that high press at Paris Saint-Germain, and their counter attacks with the likes of Thuram and also Lautaro Martinez will take advantage of them. Inter Milan in their 14 Champions League games from Abono, and 11, Omunomudi can first. Has a Chelsea in Robertis in their last 13 Conference League games. Emu 12, Omudi can first. Paris Saint-Germain in Inter Milan game, and there's a first goal from Inter Milan. You shouldn't be surprised because the Champions League record of meeting are set, and that is what they do. On the night, 2 players to watch: Ebabe Ousmane Dembele and Lautaro Martinez. Ousmane Dembele this season, or 12 goals contribution in the Champions League, was 8 goals, and also 4 against German opponents. Against Stuttgart, and Lautaro Martinez has been one key player. The last time they went into the final in 2023, City did win, and he was part of the team. And Oshe Inter Milan squad as of now, the squad they used in 2023, just 1 or 2 players playing in him. On that night, you will say Jeku started and they only team him, and the other player started here, and maybe he could get a start. Damien. Apart from that, most of their players or more in the 2023 final, they are available to play, and I think that final will be behind them, and they are looking at surely getting into this competition and winning it. On the night, I'm seeing Paris Saint-Germain winning the Champions League. I think history, and their form guide, the BBR guide, Emma team friend Paris Saint-Germain, and not ahead of team friend Inter Milan, and I'll see Paris Saint-Germain to win. On the night, I don't think this game will go into an extra or penalty shootout. It will be a full game. I'm seeing Paris Saint-Germain winning. A lot of goals, over 1.5, over 2.5 goals likely happening in this game. Corners is because Inter Milan thrives on more counter-attack play, and Paris Saint-Germain using more of the flanks to get into their opponent half. We see a lot of corners. Corners of over 8.5, likely say ball, and also a first half 0.5. So opposite call the risky better. It will be a first half 0.5 for team IFN Inter Milan on the night. I think the excitement hasn't been there, but it will be one of the most exciting Champions League final in the last 3-4 years, because I'm seeing both teams coming out to play, and there is nothing for them to lose, especially Inter Milan. Not we are and compete me the treble and Kenny, they would have been having 2 trophies coming into the Champions League final, but they've been able to lose all. They are to win this or just forget about it. With Paris Saint-Germain, no matter idea in their domestic league, they've performed so well, winning the French league, winning the Copa de France, and now they have to end the.
So I'm winning Champions League. I'm
a
final. So what will be the most important factor that will help Paris Saint-Germain to win?
If they need to win, they need to be like the Paris Saint-Germain they've been this season, to go out more and perform so well. The only thing about distract you here, they would like to feel so okay, a call last final, it's me and we. So let's try and be more maybe defensive and a whole lot of.
Okay, so let's look at players I bought the last final in both teams.
Yes.
It will let us know if maybe that point in the fact say you final and the history so say we call first final you know winning, but your subsequent finals and it is possible to be winning. It also it might also ring bell or my dream money ade. So let's look at my last final or my boy the players are more represented Paris Saint-Germain. Then Inter Milan, so say last 3 years, right?
Yes.
Last 3 years, I'm final money Man City core. The kind of what do you call it? Players are almost salty and I handled one aka. I think they Inter the end there.
There's just 2 players penna as at now. But the second player that is Damien Onya start. That day or started as the right centre back, but I think as of now, no more Pavard or more Bishek to be able to start that role. But with Paris Saint-Germain, they've missed out on a lot of players.
Okay.
Say they hide the likes of your friends Neymar, your friends Mbappe, team.
Was Mbappe part of that team?
Yes, Mbappe was part of that.
Okay.
Thiago Silva, that pairing was between Thiago Silva and Marquinhos. No more has on beat me it's me my first Champions League so I think the only thing which helps them coming into this game is that they have a different coach, one at hand, a coach who has won the Champions League before and understands the pedigree of the Champions League and knows what to do. Intino with my memory lineup on that Champions League night, Navas and the Dapo Mumao and I think Kimpembe Dalo and we have friend saying we that player about Everton and saying Idris Ganagi, Ebobi, Neymar, Di Maria, and Mbappe, and Draxler, and almost 30 as their front four. Intino now, most of this lineup, I think player B any team aboard that particular final. It is a new setup. Paris Saint-Germain and the Beba into this.
Said your Coma share goal.
Say Coma and Shema.
Yeah.
The B.
Coman and share your academy boy. So this is the lineup. Keylor Navas and a dark posting. Kara and a ball right back. Thiago Silva, Kepembe, Bernat, Joan Bernat, Paredes, Marquinhos and a boom fin. And Herrera, former United player, Angel Di Maria, Neymar and Mbappe. And a buy so no Manono and a demo, Kimmich in the ball right back, Boateng Alaba, and Afonso Davies, Leon Goretzka, Thiago Alcantara, Koeman, Müller, Gnabry, and Lewandowski. Yes, and Lewandowski. Osha. Bayern Munich dominated possession in terms of.
On the night, I think Siciano in the Paris Saint-Germain team, Kimpembe Egusu team.
But me sure so best starting.
Marquinhos is the only player with me and starting in this game. Apart from that, the likes of Andre Herrera, we're friends and Di Maria, Mbappe, Neymar, and the likes, the William Thiago Silva, they are not part of the team again. So it's a new team. Share Inter Milan and so set up now. Inter Milan set up now. So there are only 2 players that are missing out, which is their friend is saying Damien, who started as the right centre back at that time, and player a friend Jeku. No Saturday no start as
Okay.
a striker with way up front.
Okay, my memorable lineup no. Onana na da post him.
Yes.
Damian Asebi, Bastoni,
Yes.
Dumfries, Barella, Brozovic, Chahanoglu, Dimarco, then Martinez and Edin Dzeko. So they have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players are 8 players are on where they
Means a virus the better swap with the 2023 team.
Yeah.
And also 2025 team expected lineup on both sides. And I think Blazovic also starting in 2023.
Yeah, and I make him. So now he will be replaced by Mkhitaryan
in the setup.
Dumfries is still there. Dzeko will be replaced by Thuram.
Yes.
So if you look at the replacement, is it an upgrade?
Yes, I think with the replacement is a big upgrade for Inter Milan. So at that time, Dzeko.
Bishek.
Yeah,
Brozovic ne Mkhitaryan.
Yes, I think it will depend on who's the Mkhitaryan at this time to see our age kakra.
So he will not be an upgrade on Brozovic.
No.
Okay, but Dzeko need to run.
Yes, and I think Bishek, depending on Bishek any power, I think they are upgrade on player friend Damian on that particular role. He said that they played so well. They played so well. The likes of Romelu Lukaku, but so they are trying to recorrect that with the same lineup and make sure some beats me performing. I think Inzaghi as a coach, he needs at least this Champions League to be able to make sure say he has cemented that thing. Why Juma or Inter Milan
Okay.
Inter Milan so he's looking back on the night. I'm seeing Paris Saint-Germain history backing them and they picking up their first Champions League.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Listo, I think and this UEFA Champions League final at the America said the Qataris for now have been working for the past 14 years when they take over PSG. And Yedim said this season, these two teams tactically they are very good. Check the Inter, Inzaghi, Inter, Luis Enrique, PSG. They all have their ways of creating chances and scoring goals. And this season, Mecca said PSG didn't start the Champions League on a very good note, but you see this year no other team in Europe and are performing so well than PSG. And in fact, to check here, French football for this tour, they've come out the match, especially for European trophy and as a international and as a continental trophy, because Marseille Pen are the only club in the history of French football for the Omaji competition, European competition as a BBC. But then that woman might even work for PSG. As I say, the last success I buy in Munich against the club from Milan. Na Olympic Marseille and AC Milan. A share no, the continental trophy Munich. Now again about another French football team, any another Milan club, and by your body. We check here 4 occasions at least all. Yabo finals ni now Munich. 4 occasions yabo finals ni Munich in list. Anytime biano team any first time on the trophy ni be that on the title trophy. So you look at the last 4 and I'm say 5 tournaments, 4 World Cup, UEFA Champions League finals on Munich in 1979. Nottingham Forest ne Mamu, Nottingham Forest HGB for the first time. Olympic Marseille Milan then I'm a boss. So Borussia Dortmund Juventus, Emma Dortmund, EG 3-1 EG for the first time, and they Chelsea and Bayern Munich, Chelsea Bayern Munich share, and then Paris Saint-Germain, and Inter Milan. Inter the Champions League was 3 times. So there are other things that favor PSG to win. But PSG for this to the last French team winning any continental cup. That is that cup winners cup. No? Since then, any French team being winning a such trophy. But then who check it and the UEFA Champions League for no. Day it's a virus bet so I'm post since 2014. The winners are Magic UEFA Champions League. Since 2014, the winners are Magic UEFA Champions League. And admin or UEFA Champions League social media opposed here no. Obisa say, I say, picture no any results no. If following a certain sequence and I say there is something usual. The list or flyer na Champions League for a post year. In 2004, list was one a win here. Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid. Real Madrid na win or share 4-1. 2015 there Berlin. Basachi Juventus share. Madrid Atletico. Umbo 1-1 Milan. Bomb the penalties. Madrid win here. Real Madrid Juventus Cardiff. Madrid share 4-1. Another Real Madrid, that is the repeat no more against Liverpool Kiev. Madrid share. Liverpool Tottenham Hotspur Madrid. Liverpool Tottenham share no. Bayern Munich 2020 Lisbon. That is against PSG. First time I'm call UEFA Champions League final. Bayern Munich ne share no. Chelsea Man City Porto. Chelsea share Man City share no. Real Madrid Liverpool Paris. Madrid Liverpool share no. And last 2 years Inter abroad call final. City chain share no. Istanbul. Man City share no. And Real Madrid Dortmund. Real Madrid share Liverpool. Listo. Now let's look at the results. Winners ni na ye omo a ye regard them as the home team on the final. Omo ma winning ni na omo a ye regard them as the home team in the final. And then o check it and then game I because wo Munich na me ad much na PSG and the home team. And then Munich finals I bought in Manchester. Team onje trophy ni bida. Finals UEFA Champions League final be a ball. Munich be a. Team onje final ni bida. And mostly OJ especially finals I host to Munich. So there are things that I say away in favor of a year team and a year PSG. Last 2 years na Inter qual final, but I mean they lost to Man City. But that defeat in the say on all 3 occasions that Inter for lose in the UCL final. It has been a club what that season or the Champions League now or the treble. You still follow conversation here.
Yeah.
All 3 friends and defeats or occasions are Inter lose UEFA Champions League final. Team now obeshe Inter or kwaji treble. And now when ebabeji a treble. Last weekend in the French Cup, Michel Reims Aje already when he can't the French Le Championnat and they Oji Weswa Obabeji treble. So there are things at least as a favor to Manidi Eddie Inter Milan, but Inter strength this season they find themselves at least they are able to control the games, especially timer Acerbi. Ultimately against Barcelona. At the time, they were leading by 2 goals. Barca bet 2-0. Ababe said this season, Timothy control games. Ultimately taking leader. So in this game, if Inter Milan, you started first 20 minutes, not say Inter Milan at Watana, and I will take leader, I won't be surprised because out of 14 games in the UEFA Champions League this season, 11 Inter di Watana. Taking the lead, and they have ways and means that ultimately control games, whether they are taking the lead or whether they are down by a goal. And it's something that if you are playing the final, it's me wow. If put me control game, it keep that composure. And they beat me about. But inside for Listo, in this game they are the underdogs because if how Barca any Inter ball and this PSG team defensively they are solid. See this Barcelona team. We in about highline, but we more highline and share highline too high. And defensively, they are solid. William Pacho, fantastic debut for PSG. Marquinhos, Hakimi, and Nuno Mendes. This game, I think the lucky enough, all these 2 teams, most of them now are more key players. But the most important thing is that Damien and Pietro Zelinski are no me the players are not on our Inter Milan list to almost started training, almost joining the squad no it was Saturday, almost no training. But as to step Pavard will get the nod ahead of Bishek, will also be a decision coach Simeone Inzaghi will be taking. On PSG side, they don't have any injuries at this point. And they Martinez against Barca, now on your fitter, Otimi ball through pain in 70 minutes. Finally, Otana say he in film no. He hasn't played any game for Inter Milan since then. So, yeah, how I say Nyame had much now. Inter game no. Lautaro Martinez a bebo. In this game on bebo, Obi a bebo the lineup. In the list of virus of Inter for probable lineup at midfield on Metima Boni and Josumami. These are how mostly they are on my board this season. That is when Pavard anyhow. If Pavard or her and Kabishek won't be in the lineup. But with Pavard, how he hasn't played and as a serious game like this, match fitness in the man, I will go inside basic starting. Achebi, any Bastoni will start. Hakan Chanoglu, Henrik Mkhitaryan, and Nicolo Barrera, as usual, will start in the midfield. And their wing backs, Dumfries, and Abranton and DiMarco, Ayaki, and the Omo two top, Abranton and Martinez, and the Turam. Now, virus of PSG, any Rams, the cup game on boy, line up into so. And I think that will check it PSG for cup game. How almost set up on my team now. Goalkeeper near the Safan of find likely to be from Donnarumma Wabeda. They needed to rest Donnarumma. And then I think that Bracola a better than chain. I'm a desire doing.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yes, Bracola. I don't see Bracola starting because almost all the big games or starting Desire Day. And he will need Desire Day to play because this game, in terms of flanks, Omomi no be issue flanks. So DiMarco, if Omu defend here, he will be there to stop Aya Branton. So you need someone who is technically good to in those half spaces. Listo. This game, both teams Omu use some of flanks, especially Hakimi. In the Champions League this year, especially the semi-final game. Hakimi goes or share and a boy more mobile anymore. Same as Dumfries against Air Barcelona. More than 3 goals involvement and a player and a year and moment in the buy. DeMarco Aki, Samson Abranton and no Mendes Aki. This game, in terms of possession wise, PSG will dominate the game. But using the wide and how our Inter so use wide no. Ebema game no a square. I think that the final will be one of the toughest to call in many years. How both teams need set it up. But then PSG for Listo, they are listed as favorites and Inter for no. I will not be surprised at all. Because how am they've scored Inter Milan. Sorry, they scored Bayern Munich, Ashebasa, and PSG that win against Liverpool and against Arsenal. It shows that they are also up there. So it's going to be a very tough call. But to me, I see a scoring draw. A 1-1 and a 2-2 draw. And there are some omen via ADPAG. Finally, among first final, they've lost Inter Milan Wajibida. So that omen entire the Munich final is also with them. And I think that both clubs will be involved in a very tight, tactically, game management. Both coaches will be up there. But I see a list of game, penalties never decided.
I'm quite extra time,
yes.
Penalties. One edge.
And quite extra time, we saw how PSG won penalties against Liverpool. I think that if a couple penalties are, I'm expecting PSG to take this. But the full time should be a scoring draw. My favorites to win this tournament, I think that PSG are favorite to win. There are a lot of factors backing them. But if Inter win this tournament, don't be surprised. It's going to be a very tight call between these two teams. So I see a scoring draw, over 1.5 goals in this game, over 2.5 bookings, and over 8.5 corners in this game.
Okay. I will say PSG, and I also say PSG very. Okay. yɛnhwɛ ɛnɛ us kakra no na afei yɛmfa mma na yɛnsɔre so.
Okay, and at least to my select some few games. Few games I'm selected. I think that Oshko Belarus Premier League na Dynamo Brest. Omone Minsk Ebebo. A win and over 1.5 for Dynamo Brest. And you call a Brazil. Aye Omo Sirabina. Botafogo. Any Ferrovaria Ebebo. Sa game no. Ferrovaria to score. And after Oko a Copa Libertadores na 2 games ebe koso Racing Club and Fortaleza. That game no over 1.5. And NNA Fluminense and Ons Caldas. Sa game no so Meko Fluminense win and over 1.5. Atletico Mineiro. And so anytime they at the Cienciano Bebo, a win and over 1.5 for Atletico Mineiro. Then I think the last game for the day, no, the last game for the day, no, Spain Segunda Division, Castellón and Real Zaragoza game, no, and also make over 2.5 goals in that game.
Okay. And Antalya for any trousers for ball of 1.5. That is what Turkish league now. Galatasaray ne Istanbul Besiktas over 2.5 sa game no. Florin Tarin any Taku JK Tameka oko Estonia league na. Flora for no to score 2. Al Ittihad any Aquasia Al Ittihad home goal. FC Aura any Grasshoppers any airball over 1.5. Cork City any Sherborne FC oko Irelander. Yeah, we win or draw. Sligo Rovers any St. Patrick's Athletic away win or draw. And Wexford any Dundalk FC for no win either half. And Shamrock Rovers any Galway United FC. Shamrock United. And Shamrock Rovers home win. Until we meso me us. Ghana yet to me report it. Come. They are preparing for the 3rd and 4th against Trinidad and Tobago. How should we approach this game? Yemfa just we try and error and making sure say players are believe say the first team no. We should try them and let them continue building the chemistry. So other guys in the bar integration in the and I say we should continue trying players.
I think with the 3rd and 4th Airbus it's likely we would continue trying players because this main tournament, the Unity Cup tournament, was just based on calling players. They've not had a chance to play in the Black Stars. Those they've missed out for a longer time too. Now we look at their performance, and in September, media account. So also losing to Nigeria and now having the chance to be the 3rd best team in the competition. It's now time to try those players. Omo menye be in the first game. Omo they be missing out from the Black Stars for a longer time. Time when I say we trying an error or using and building chemistry more based on the coach and in the tactics. It's a coach in the one structure or one plan or one philosophy of people use where it can be laid out. Players coming in and going out in their national team normal as the NBC. So the coach needs to have a structure. Into that structure should fall in. Remember, say any chart, any Central African Republic games, we had a structure, and we need to be winning. So that same structure needs to be implemented. But player changing in Yama, which I think is normal for a 3rd and 4th game. So today, tomorrow we'll see players they've not had a chance to play, and they'll get a chance to also show and exhibit their talents. And in September, they can be called for the main senior national team for competitive games.
All right. Yeah.
I think that one of the main reasons why Uefa friendly games is to just try and give some guys, minutes. Especially a game against Nigeria, there were a lot of praises from Ghanaians about Christopher Bonsu, and we're justifying him as a striker with left-footed with pace. Wherever in fact, that game on Ghana best player against Nigeria, Yurenchiso HSA as a midfielder where they were playing as a right back. Even if Salis and any player knew how, he can also fill in and do the job. And maybe Lucy Amanfo also didn't see Majid Ashmeru. He played very well after so much injuries and but I think that the one thing is that already we are not winning the Unity Cup. 10 of February against Trinidad and Tobago. We should and they local players. We give them a lot of chance, and maybe their sense that in the South Africa game FMB where Fatah said park and since that was then me imagine say the local players I won't advocate for them because we know what is going on in our league. Our league is not at its best and we are not producing the players you believe say almost our standard. So we might see a player dominating and do well in the Ghana Premier League, but it doesn't guarantee say the standard near Black Star standard. The fact that Obo local league in Chelsea, Obo was Switzerland, no second division, the Pakoni Bobo saying Nippon or a Premier League club, or a local league player. We shouldn't. So me, Black Stars in your local league players, whoever is best, we call them best players, best Ghanaian players. So there are local based players. Me, I don't agree that when Benjamin Asari is imposed, I order. Whenever it's imposed, maybe you wouldn't agree say or say Martin Zigida, but then we will support whoever will be in the post and I will play. The last time Razak Chelsea won the first game, people were praising him so yeah, then composure. The next game, Crosby on our way fan. People talked about it. So me, I think that we will call local player into the Black Stars. Obenya call up about Black Stars. Whenever the player moves from the Premier League, we don't advocate for the players again. Daniel Free Bani, did a World Cup. He drop here free ban.
Afinajan.
Since we free out of what is to be a free Bani machine. Zurich won one crowd. He is not
Maybe more.
So me that Premier League advocacy, I don't do that. Let's make the
select who is good enough and can compete.
And a coach is not for a lot of players. And I declare that since Desmond Ofer is assistant coach for the Black Stars, he'll be helping to promote some of the young players from
promote players now or the audio and Kruma you free bench by goal or babeshe. Yeah, Fred Blasters. I walk off Aziz no till only bimbono. Ironesa mu Bob Ironesa why no bit me your back you defenders a war movers will be a fetter. One Iron is a bit me too.
To me, if there was going to be a player, I would say because of the midfield crisis in the man, I was just say be a cover Fred Fenyin Dennis. I mean he also had a fantastic tournament join under 20, but then they should give Suleiman Abba, they should give him some minutes. Utwado Maya aware say he's a long-term plan for the Black Stars and they try a lot of players. They should also try some of the players or more the way forward. They say come on September, you better return it to a FIFA World Cup campaign. Then it should be a game that they should win. But Christopher Bonsu, he should also try him as an Amana. If we don't have Jordan, we don't have Antoine Semenyo, he's a player we can. He's also play Yerenchi. The number 6 through our ball Northland for us to even more assess the players. Say next time if you are doing a local league by us, just call the right players for the national team.
Okay, right. Any day show ni na bisi. Nyame adoma ochina say best streaming Champions League live commentary to media man be to me akoyi. The bisi bia no ati enka. But more than join here our Telegram account and send a also no usu betwa na usu wedi bi na bibia so atumi akoyi. Within the list to what Benedict can visit in Casa so and a virus and a streaming show. Nyame adoma ye be say share Monday yakram.